A conglomerate company is one that has business ventures in multiple industries. For example, Company A has three different businesses within itself. Business 1 sells household products such as bleach soap and cleaning supplies. Business 2 sells medical devices such as cameras and thermometers. And Business 3 sells clothing. Although this may be somewhat of a reach of an example, it paints a basic picture of how spread out across the board a conglomerate company can be. Not only has Company A expanded across three different industries, but businesses 1, 2, and 3 are also in three different sectors, being consumer staples, healthcare, and consumer discretionary, respectively. Companies often make the decision to become a conglomerate simply to expand the reach of their business ventures. When companies do this, they do two things. The first is they create greater opportunities to create revenue, and the second is they lower the risk of bankruptcy for their company. When we look at the size of a company, there are a few different types of measurements. These measurements can include revenue, profits, EBIT or EBITDA, and market capitalization. For the following table, we have used market capitalization because it gives the best valuation of a company. The top 10 companies on this list should not be much of a surprise. They are, in order, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Berkshire Hathaway, Facebook, Johnson & Johnson, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, and Verizon. One thing to note about this list is that after the fourth company, Alphabet, there is a significant drop-off in market cap. The most important role conglomerates play in the economy of the United States and worldwide for multinational corporations is simple. They provide jobs. There is an argument that some companies become too big to fail, meaning that if they were to go bankrupt and discontinue operations, it would be more harmful to the economy than a bailout from the government or another corporation would be. This is what happened during the 2008 housing crisis. What started as a disaster in the real estate industry ended up affecting the entire country. As people were defaulting on their home loans, they were not rushing out to buy cars. After some time, companies such as Ford and General Motors were recording losses to the point where they could not maintain operations any longer. The dilemma was then two-pronged and fell into the lap of the federal government. Do we let these companies die and give up tens of thousands of jobs in an already historically unemployed economy, or do we give these companies the money they need so that their employees can continue to work and put their earnings back into the economy? Ultimately, we all know that these big names received the funding that they needed, which ended up becoming a large factor in the rebound of the economy in the following years. To get a better understanding of how conglomerates operate and balance businesses in multiple industries, we will take an in-depth look at the Walt Disney Corporation. Within their company, they have identified four main revenue streams, each with multiple subsidiaries and in different industries. The chart on the screen further explains this breakdown. As mentioned before, there are four business segments within Disney's operations. The first one is Media Networks, which stretches across the industries of sports broadcasting, mass media, and cable television, and has subsidiaries such as ESPN, ABC, and Disney Channel. The second one is Parks, Experiences, and Products, which stretches across the industries of amusement parks and resorts and hospitality and tourism, and has subsidiaries such as Disneyland, Disney Cruise Lines, and Disney World. The third one is Studio Entertainment, which includes the industries of film and theater, and has subsidiaries such as Walt Disney Films and 20th Century Studios. The last one is Direct-to-Consumer International, or DTCI, and includes the industry of streaming services and has subsidiaries such as Disney Plus and Hulu. To begin calculating a bottom-up beta, we first need to find the betas for each business segment for Disney. Considering Disney has a massive amount of subsidiaries, to make this process a little bit easier, we will look at each of Disney's four business segments as their own whole and compare them to industry competitors. This will give us a proxy beta, or something comparable that we can use to calculate the bottom-up beta. Once we have found our comparable public companies, we can find the beta for each of Disney's business segments. Media Networks has an average beta of 1.32, PEP has an average beta of 1.5, Studio Entertainment 0.94, and DTCI 1.22. Using these proxy betas for each business segment will help us calculate a bottom-up beta for the conglomerate as a whole. This will help us better understand the risk associated with each business segment and how they affect the total beta of the company. For future reference, these proxy betas will also be referred to as equity betas. A bottom-up beta takes the betas for each business segment and adds them together to create a beta for the company as a whole. We will multiply the equity betas for each business segment by the percentage of total revenue that they make for the company to find the amount of risk that they bring the company that is quantified in a proportional beta. Since PEP brings in the greatest amount of revenue of the four segments, that beta will have the greatest weight in the total bottom-up beta. Once we've added up the proportional betas, we get a bottom-up beta of 1.35 for Disney. Yahoo Finance, Saks, and MarketWatch have betas of 1.04, 1.09, and 0.93 for Disney, respectively. What this tells us about our bottom-up beta is that Disney's business segments are higher risk and higher reward. PEP brings in the highest amount of revenue of the four segments, yet performs in an industry with the highest beta or risk.